All right, so let's talk about this real quick. There's a thing I've been noticing, and I'm calling it the Dr. Umification of Black issues. And what I mean by this is you get one extreme on one side, and then somebody feels like they got to match with an equal extreme on the other side. And somewhere in the middle always lies the truth, but the middle doesn't get you clicks. It doesn't make you go viral if you're right dead in the middle. Honestly, it gets everybody pissed off at you. Like, welcome to my world. That's what happens to me all the damn time. Everybody just mad at me. But I'm going to make this simple. People look at me, and because I've dated outside my race, they'll say shit like, oh man, you ain't pro-black. Like I heard it a lot. But here's the reality nobody really wants to say out loud. Dating is heavily a function of proximity. Who are you around? Who do you see every day? Who are you building a life with in real time, right? You tend to date people around you. Now, if I drop Dr. Umar Johnson in the middle of the whitest part of Sweden for 10 years, what do you think's gonna happen? Dude gonna be busting down Swedish chicks. At some point, there's a biological imperative and opportunities intersect. So now you can argue to me that maybe he has some kind of superhuman discipline that no other man on earth has. Cool, maybe. But for most people, love follows proximity and who you are around. So, and that's the same with me. Now, I've dated black women. I've never not dated black women. I never said I'm not going to date black women. That's not the case. But in my case, if you're in Japan long enough, you're probably going to be dating Japanese women, right? And people will say, well, you can find a black woman over there in Japan. And yeah, you're right. I can. I could have found a black woman in Japan. But that's like going into an Italian restaurant asking for a taco. Like maybe I can find a taco, but how good the taco gonna be, right? And I know that's a terrible analogy, but you get what I'm trying to say. And I have met beautiful black women in Japan, but much like I'm saying, proximity, it wasn't near me or we couldn't get things popping because of distance, right? That matters. Now, here's where I'm gonna get deep on y'all. We got to stop turning everything into a purity test. Because if we're talking about black progress, black upward mobility, black excellence, you're gonna have some imperfect allies. Like I consider Willie D an ally in a lot of conversation. I consider Dr. Umar Johnson an ally. Now, do I agree with everything they say? Hell no, not even close. But that's the point. If your movement only works with perfect people, then your movement is dead on your arrival. You're gonna have imperfect allies, right? But you kill your allies by trying to make your allies perfect. Not a real sustainable movement if you're killing all your allies, man. You can't have no soldiers, you're killing all of them. Like who's gonna go out there and fight for you if you're killing all your soldiers? Now, let me get real with this conversation and get to a point I really want to make. There has never been a bigger supporter of the black man than the black woman. Nobody comes close. Historically, socially, educationally, emotionally, black women show up for black men, period. My best friends and confidants are black women. Black women prop me up and have done so much for me. And black men in the black community in general, there is no bigger supporter of the black man than the black woman. But here's where it's going to get a little controversial. There's never been any supporter greater than the black woman, the black man, but the second largest supporter of the black man has been the white woman. Now, cook with me for a second. Y'all hear me say that, but cook with me for a second. You got to understand why this even matters, because in this white supremacist structure we live in America, and that we've exported around the world, white men sit on top. But where do white men come from? White women. That's the pipeline. And historically, the system has been obsessed with controlling that pipeline. That's why you see something like Emmett Till. That's why Emmett Till happened. It wasn't about that one accusation. That was about protecting a system where white women are positioned in a way that maintains white male dominance. And the sad thing is the system doesn't even fully protect white women like that. It really doesn't. It just gives them enough proximity to power, like just enough protection, just enough advantages to be invested in this system of white supremacy we have in America. Because if white women ever step away from that system, it collapses. It fails. And that's the fear, right? That's what these white supremacists fear. They fear the white woman jumping off this whole system of white supremacy, because white supremacy can only last if you have white women, right? So when you see interracial dynamics, especially involving like black men and white women, it triggers something deep into a lot of racist psyches, right? It touches on a power structure. But here's where I push back on both extremes, right? Like telling a black man don't date outside your race, that ain't helping, right? Telling him you are abandoning the black woman, that ain't helping either. Because if you're policing individuals instead of building systems, you're not making progress. And if you really care about black progress, you got to ask better questions like, where's our money going? How much money are we spending? And who are we building with? And what institutions are we strengthening? Like that needs to be the question. And let's be honest, you can marry black and still spend your money outside the community. Like just because you marry a black woman and you're a black man, that doesn't mean you're spending your money inside the black community and uplifting the black community, right? That's just a dumb purity test. And you can marry interracial and still invest and uplift black spaces. They're not mutually exclusive. You can do both of them, right? Like both of them are true. So what actually moves the needle? And let me give y'all some real actionable moves that align with what I'm saying. Like you got to do intentional spending. Like you got to support black owned businesses where it makes sense. Like you can't just willy-nilly just say, oh, this business is black and give them money. No, that's stupid. But you can't be performative with it either. You got to be consistent. The black business I have adopted is my frat brother's Willis shop, Sticks and Stones / Winging It. I make sure monthly I go there and support that restaurant. I take my coworkers to that restaurant because that's a black business I have adopted and they can consistently depend on my money, right? Then you got to go ownership over consumption, man. We got to know where we're spending our money. Like, wise Japanese man, Mr. Ishii, I never forget it, man. He told me, man, the only way to keep money is not to spend it. And it's true, man. Like we spend a lot of damn money on just dumb shit, guys. Like dumb shit we don't need. We need to own more, right? You need to own real estate, businesses, equity. That's why I invest in stocks, man. That's ownership. That is part ownership in a business. You own something, right? We need to preach ownership. Then also we got to start supporting these education pipelines, man. Like how many of you pro-black people actually give to HBCUs? No, seriously, honestly, not like being performative. Like how much money do you actually give to HBCUs? Like, do you mentor young black men? I do. Like, are you creating pathways, not just motivation, right? If I see a young black man that's tech savvy, guess what I do? Hey, man, have you ever thought about getting to the IT field? Hey, man, let me tell you these certifications you need to get into the IT field. Like, seriously, man. Like, it's a young man right now. He's working in the warehouse. I'm like, bro, you good with these computers, man. Why don't you switch over here? It's only so long you can trade on your body, man. That is mentorship. Are you doing that? While you worried about who somebody's dating, are you doing that? Right? Are you building skills for empowerment? And the last thing I want to say that like people really need to do, and this is kind of gets overlooked, we got to start controlling our media, right? You got to support Black creators who are telling real stories, not just trauma and stereotypes. I always say, man, if I really wanted to grift, dog, I would just go full right wing and go MAGA. Cause, bruh, folks pay good money to see a Black man tap dance. Like, seriously, if I just tap dance and just pair it with these folks what they hear, dog, I can make so much money, dog. Seriously, it's been proven time and time again. But, you know, shame on me. I got these things called principles. But at the end of the day, the argument should be, what kind of Black are you? Right? Are you the Black person to actually support the community? Or are you the Black person to just judge the other Black man for some dumbass purity test? So yeah, man, just date who you want to date. Dead ass. Love who you want to love. And that includes gay people, man. Like, if you gay, man, love who you want to love. But understand the system you're in and move with intention inside of it. Because the real power ain't who you with. It's how you are building and what you're building. Because systems outlast people, man. Just something to think about.